Hey everybody, this is Erica from the Classy Climb blog. You can check me out at Erica S. Williams on Twitter. And today we're talking about how to kick most debt in 2 to 5 years. But before we start, definitely check out below the Classy Climb School courses on how to get your hustle on, build up income, start a business from scratch, live the American dream you want and desire. Everybody's coming here to do it. Why not you? Anyway, how to kick most debt in 2 to 5 years. And the reason I'm not telling you to quit your job in 2 to 5 years, the reason I'm not telling you everything's going to be rosy in 2 to 5 years, what I'm telling you is, if you really look at some of your debt, and it says the average American has like $7,000 credit card debt or, $10,000 on a car left over, whatever. But a lot of people, what happens is they go, well, I really want that car and I can afford those payments. It's just a little bit out of my budget. And a lot of times what happens is if people have these really high interest rates, they look at it, if they get rid of that car in that first year, they're not really paying all that high interest. Just depends on how their loan's set up, of course. But let's say you got this car and it's a $10,000 Honda Accord, maybe you got an older model used, and you kind of don't want to carry that note for 2 and 3 years. You want to get rid of it. If you just bring in an extra $1,000 a month income and kick that debt out in the end of the year, you can do it. Now, a lot of people, if let's say they have just $7,000 credit card bill. I remember having a friend who had like a $2,000 credit card bill and he was like, I don't know how to get rid of it. I'm like, dude, let's just make you an extra $500 for the next 5 months and you're done. Or let's just make you an extra $1,000 for the next 3 months and you're done. So when people say that, they're like, how do you do that? Make this extra money here. Got to understand. It's going to take sacrifice. And the shorter the time frame you want to sacrifice, get on it, man. Same thing with people who say they want to travel for a year while they're young and they don't have a lot of attachments. Well, honestly, I've watched and I made a video, I'll tag it below, of where a guy worked for $9 an hour at a pizza shop and for 6 months saved up all his money and sold his car and sold a lot of stuff he had $14,000 and is going to travel for a year. Peace out, around the world, done. And the shorter the time frame is, the more consistent people can get it done. They just plow through it. It's over in no time. And then you're really living, because if you and your spouse have 3 to 5, she's making 3 a month, you're making 2 or 3 a month. Together, you guys have no car debt. You have no small credit cards. You just have maybe your monthly internet, your food, and your mortgage. Man, you guys are balling. And then if you put your mortgage on that same deal, because once you cleared up all the cars and the other crap, and you just got that extra $2,000 between the two of you, you can start throwing that $2,000 on a house, right? And people are like, man, I don't know if I'm going to throw $24,000 in 1 year on my house. Why not, man? Get rid of it. Why not? 2 years, you probably could get rid of that debt. 2 to 5 years, depending on where you live, depending on how much your house mortgage is, stuff like that. But overall, even if you listen to Dave Ramsey's show, if you see any of those speeches, a lot of people, when they focus, they're done in 1 year to 5 years. They're just done. The guy, I did a video on about the guy, 23 years old. He had $23,000 in college loan debt. And people were like, man, this debt's so heavy. No, he just stayed with his family for a year and then he just knocked it out. He worked an extra job and he lived with his parents for free and just took whole paychecks and dumped it on that loan for 10 months. And the 10 month loan was gone. It was done. And so when you have people walking around with college loan debt in their late 30s and late 40s, but they told you they traveled around the world. They've told you they've done these fun things. They went on these vacations every single year. Every single year they could take $2,000 and throw it at that, right? Even if it doesn't seem like a lot, in 10 years they'd be done, because $2,000 every year for 10 years is $20,000. And the average person has about $20,000 in student loan debt. 20 to 30. So people are showing you clear as day what their choices are, what they've decided to do, and say, well, I only make $35 a year. It's my job. But every time you turn around, you see them drinking at a bar, you see them partying. It requires focus and it requires sacrifice. And if you look at a lot of people, $10,000, man, if you, let's say, I know people hate me using the analogy of delivering pizzas, but when your house is burning, it's a fire, right? Like, you need to go now. So even if you deliver pizzas or you drove for Uber, like I live in Austin, Texas, and when you have events come in town, Uber drivers are making $2,000 because they're doing all day long. Now the app cuts you off after 12 hours because it doesn't want you driving sleepy. But just for those people who I know do a little bit of Uber and a little bit of Lyft, when the Uber app cuts you off, you turn on your Lyft and you keep on going, right? You don't want to drive that much, but in general, If you just did 2 or 3 big weekends in a month, maybe just 2 big weekends, and it got you an extra 1,000, throw that 1,000 at that debt. If that's a new car and you want to pay that new car off, you want it gone, take that 1,000 every month and kick it at that debt, right? Because what happens once your car payment's gone? Because what people really don't say, they say, well, the payment's only 3 something. No, you didn't add in the gas, the maintenance. You didn't add in the insurance. That's $275 a month insurance. So now your car that you got for 3 something is really 5 or 6 something, and your budget's tight because you want to drive a nice fancy car, right? So once we get that out, now we put an extra $600 in our pocket, man. Once we've done that, and we can go travel, we can go vacation, or we can go pay off some other own debt. You look at most young people, if they get rid of their college loan debt, they get rid of their car debt, what are their other major things other than rent and food and light bill? You know what I mean? I mean, it's like, if you really look at it, when people free themselves that much, so what that might require some people do, not getting them the mega mansions, not living way in another town so you can have the best schools. Sometimes the best school is right there down the street where you walk and you are participating in the school, you check out the children, you see the teachers, you are involved in PTA. That's the best school. You know, people kill me with that. Like, well, I want my kid around the best absolute kids ever. Well, yeah, that's great, but you can't afford a $400,000 house. If you and your husband lose your job, you're going to have to sell that house. Because now you got the minivan, now you got the car. And I've heard people literally call Dave Ramsey Show and go, well, we're short every month like $500. That's why we use the credit card. Well, you need to figure out what you need to do to fill that $500. I know people hate me when I say this, but if you're a mom that's home from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and the kids are gone, yes, you have rest you need to get. You need to get to rest. You need to wash clothes. You need to clean the house. You need to do all these things. I get that. But you might want to take a couple hours in the morning and drive people for Uber or Lyft. And people are going to be like, what, Erica? You're ruining her housewife life. I'm not trying to, but if it's just your short $500, most people in the morning want to just be taken to a doctor's appointment or to work. You get a few rides out of there and you're done, dude. Even if she pulled in an extra $20 a day for 30 days. That's why a lot of people get started blogging. That's why a lot of people get started in photography, all these different things that are cool to them, you know, crocheting, selling things online, any of those things. So there's 100 ways, and I have a book, 30 Days of Freedom. It has all these links on this stuff. How to get rolling, you know. There's even an app called rover.com. Literally, rover.com, you're just house sitting pets. People go in and out of town, people work all day, they don't want their pet alone, boom. You're getting paid for it. Awesome, right? So look, don't let the mantra of it's okay to be completely deep in your eyeballs in debt be okay for you. Really, you want to be free. And to be free, it might take 2 to 5 years. But those 2 to 5 years can go by fast or slow, depending on if you're working together as a team as a married couple. And I understand if you're a single person, it's tougher. I get it. You know, you have to figure out what number works for you and have some accountability, have an accountability partner. So again, this is Erica, Classy Clown Blog. Kick debt in its face. Have a great day. You guys be good.